Good day, everyone. I am Henrietta de la Cruz, Financial Analyst 1 from Budget Section. In the previous session, we just have learned about traveling expenses, holding, miscellaneous, utilities, and other claims. This time, I'm going to talk about cash advances and liquidation report. This presentation aims to familiarize you from cash advance request and liquidation process, as well as the attachment needed for each. First, let us define what is cash advance. There are times that we don't have enough cash to travel, but we really need to. That's why cash advance is a big relief for us as staff. However, there are documents needed to grant our cash advance request. A cash advance to an employee is usually a temporary loan by the agency to an employee. This temporary loan to an employee shall be for official use only. However, not all employees are qualified to request for this cash advance. There are two types of cash advances. First is cash advance for traveling expenses, and the second is cash advance for miscellaneous, holding, cash for building livelihood assets, and cash for work. How do you know if you're qualified or not? For traveling expenses, all regular and contractual staff are qualified to a cash advance request. For transportation expenses or holding, miscellaneous expenses, and traveling expenses for non-staff, those employees who were bonded or registered to Bureau of Treasury to disperse a certain amount are the only qualified for this kind of cash advance request. And lastly, make sure that you don't have any unliquidated cash advance. Once you have learned that you're qualified, you can now prepare the following requirements needed. First, you have to prepare 3 copies of Obligation Request and Status or ORS, 4 copies of Disbursement Vouchers or DV, and 3 original Itinerary of Travel. Next, 2 copies of Regional Travel Order, Regional Special Order, or Regional Administrative Order for non-stop travel, 1 original copy and 1 photocopy. Next is 2 copies of Authority to Deduct, 1 original copy and 1 photocopy, in case reported as reduction in the department's cash account and an increase in an asset account such as advances to employees or other receivables. Another one is 2 copies of acknowledgement, 1 original copy and 1 photocopy. This is intended for advances from Special Disbursing Officer to acknowledge the request of cash advance and be aware of his/her accountability as a Special Disbursing Officer. Lastly, 2 copies of authorization, 1 original copy and 1 photocopy. This document is used to designate an employee as Special Disbursing Officer and to familiarize him or her in compliance with the rules and regulations of the Commission on Audit regarding the proper handling of government funds. Aside from cash advance for traveling expenses, we also have cash advance for building livelihood assets, cash for work, and cash advance for transportation of non-stop, like our partner beneficiaries. Through this cash advance, a cash assistance to our partner modified conditional cash transfer indigenous people or MCCTIP beneficiaries will work on special projects like vegetable farming to be able to claim the cash. Same with cash advance for traveling, holding, and miscellaneous expense. This kind of cash advance requires same attachments except of the following. First, Regional Administrative Order. This document is intended for the authority to pay our partner beneficiaries. Second, cash assistance payroll. This document provides lists of beneficiaries that are entitled to receive a specific amount of cash. And lastly, activity proposal. This is used to verify if the activity conducted was in accordance to the approved work and financial plan, or WFP. Now let us proceed to the process of cash advance vouchers. Upon completion of the documentary requirements, you can now forward your request to the Finance Unit for approval. The Financial Analyst 1 and 2 will then facilitate the voucher, just like how reimbursements and other claims are being processed until it is credited to your account. If the attachments are complete and correct, your vouchers will be forwarded to the Regional Program Coordinator for signature and will be returned back to the Finance Unit. Then, it will be forwarded to the Accounting Unit for certification. If the Accounting Unit certifies the cash advance request, it will be forwarded to the Budget Unit for obligation. Once obligated, it will be returned back to the Finance Unit for final review and initial of the Financial Analyst 3. The Regional Accountant will then certify the cash availability and will review the correctness and completeness of supporting documents. Once signed, the vouchers will be forwarded to the Regional Director for approval. Finally, the Cash Unit will credit the cash advance to the respective payroll account of the staff. Under the existing regulations, cash advances must be liquidated within the prescribed periods, depending on the nature and purpose of the particular cash advance, such as salaries and wages, petty cash fund, and field operating expenses, local and foreign travel. What is liquidation report? Liquidation report shall be used to liquidate cash advances for travel and another related activity of the employees, officers concerned in the department or entity. It shall be supported by the required supporting documents. So how does cash advances being settled and liquidated? A cash advances is settled and liquidated either first by returning the money advance if unspent through order of payment issued by the accounting officer or by presentation of regularly accomplished vouchers. Second, giving satisfactory detail of the items thereon paid, which must be in accordance with the purpose for which the cash advance was granted. And finally, further supported by the proper receipts and other evidence of payment, subject to the result of the post-audit thereof by the auditor concerned. Liquidation report is accomplished as follows. First, the period covered by the report from the date of the grant of cash advance up to the date of liquidation. Second, the name of the agency. Then, the fund cluster or code in accordance with the Unified Accounts Code Structures or UACS. Another one is the number assigned to the liquidation report by the accounting division or unit and the date of the preparation of the report. Aside from this is the code assigned to each cost or responsibility center. Next is the brief description of the expenses incurred or deviation from the original itinerary of travel. Then, the amount of expenses covered by the report. Next is the actual amount spent. Then, the amount of cash advances as indicated in the disbursement vouchers on the grant of cash advance, and the disbursement voucher number and the date should be specified. Amount refunded representing excess of the cash advance received over actual expenses incurred. The official receipt number and date should be specified. The amount due to the payee or claimant representing the difference between cash advance received and the actual expenses incurred. Box A, certified. In this box, correctness of the above data, the name and signature of the employee or officer who was granted the cash advance and the date it was signed. Box B, certified. Purpose of travel or cash advance duly accomplished. Name and signature of the immediate supervisor of the official or employee who incurred the expenses and the date it was signed. Lastly, the box C, certified. The supporting documents must be complete and proper, such as the name and signature of the head of the accounting division or unit and the date it was signed. Also, the number of the journal entry voucher used as a basis in recording the liquidation in the general journal should be indicated. Liquidation report shall be prepared in 3 copies and shall be distributed as follows. First, original copy. COA auditor through the accounting unit together with the supporting documents. Copy number 2 for accounting division unit to be attached to the journal entry voucher. And number 3, officer and employee's file. If the employee fails to liquidate his or her cash advance, the auditor shall issue a letter demanding liquidation or explanation for non-liquidation. Our unit have already discussed the traveling, miscellaneous, and hauling expenses, tax computation, process of payment to suppliers, cash advance, and liquidation report. The department could still assist us in terms of financial aspects. Therefore, if our request is granted, we also have to be responsible by proper spending of government funds and submitting the documents on time. Again, I am Henrietta de la Cruz, Financial Analyst 1 from Finance Unit. Thank you for watching!
ESWD